Welcome everyone, I'm Rowan from TMG Yachts and I am sitting next to Luke Butchers, who is the skipper of our most recent handover, the Lagoon 77 Manea. Luke's been in the industry, he's quite an experienced skipper. He's been in the industry cruising around Australia and other parts of the world for probably the last decade. And luckily we've worked quite closely with Luke over the last couple of years to get this project for his boss, the owner of this boat, and get them out on the water cruising. Welcome Luke, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So 6 weeks ago I was over in Bordeaux with Luke and the whole crew, and we handed this boat over to you guys. And look, tell us about your experience there in Bordeaux.
As per usual, launching a boat, it was a pretty crazy time. We've been very lucky. We've been working solely on this project for the last 6 months of the build, so tons of time to prepare and be ready. When launching a boat, regardless of how much time you spend preparing, it always seems a bit of a rushed period, but we're really lucky. Bordeaux, it's a very different place. We're launching a boat at the shipyard there, but between the help from the yard, from logistics, and also Yacht Solutions, the team there were very helpful in getting us on the water and having us ready to go and ready to straight into owners on board and guests, and it allowed us to be ready to do that straight off the bat, which is a very big challenge. So yeah, it went pretty well.
So in the very early days of your research phase, I know you're looking at many different boats, from big large power boats and sailing boats and catamarans and everything in between. Tell us the reason you went with the Lagoon 77.
As everyone knows, trying to find a boat is a big challenge. There's so many options and stuff out there. We were looking for a boat that enabled us to do long range cruising in comfort, in luxury, but also still being run by a small crew. The owner really wanted a very personal experience, didn't want to have a big crew of 6 or 8. Was really keen to keep the crew as small as possible, just for family, and make it feel like it's a family boat. So the Lagoon 77 kind of gave us those options of being capable to do what we wanted to do, but still being run by a small crew. And then kind of sailing was a big draw card as well. The owner came from a sailing background, hadn't had a sailing boat for a while, but I was really keen to get back to it. So it kind of met all our requirements. Yeah, and it was just an easy option. In the end, there wasn't, in the 80-foot sailing market, it was the standout for us in meeting all our requirements and the owner's requirements.
Very glad that was the direction you guys went for obvious reasons. You know, you're talking about the requirements and what the boat needed to do. What's the itinerary for the boat? Where's your sort of plans to go?
Pretty busy itinerary. Our general plan is to make our way back to Australia. Obviously we're in the Mediterranean now. As for the end of the show, we're heading off to Corsica for a few weeks to go explore Corsica and northern Sardinia, and then we'll be heading for a little period to get ready for our Atlantic crossing, so crossing the Atlantic in November, over to the Caribbean for a Caribbean season, then back to the Med for another Mediterranean season. The owners love spectating high performance yacht racing, so I've just been at the Sail GP event. We're coming back over here to come and watch the America's Cup next year. And then after that, then we really do begin our trip home. So back across probably more the southern Caribbean, through the Panama Canal, and then across the Pacific. So the plan is for it to be 2.5, 3 years, but we're already sensing it's going to blow out to probably closer to 4.
Pretty easy to make that trip and stretch it out as long as you can. There's too many beautiful places in between to see, isn't there? When
you start doing the research, even coming down here, we thought 6 weeks to get from Bordeaux to Cannes gave us enough time to get here and have some time cruising, but it disappears so quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And so you said 6 weeks. 6 weeks from leaving the factory in Bordeaux to here in Cannes. What's a quick little brief of the trip down here, and probably the biggest highlight of that whole trip?
Oh, 2 trips.
if you can think of just one.
Yeah. Okay. So the trip down firstly came out of Bordeaux, some little place called Rowan, which is a little spot at the top of the river there, and then down to Vigo, northern Spain, which is a good kind of 3-day kind of first kind of sea trial, I guess, for us to give the boat a good stretch of its legs. Great, with some fantastic sailing there. And then down the coast of kind of Portugal, into Cascais in Portugal, which we all loved. And then unfortunately kept running on, so onto Gibraltar, then onto Palma and the Balearics, which was when we had their first guests on board. Spent about a week and a half cruising around Mallorca, which was awesome. Again, a week and a half felt far too quick, but then on to Menorca and then up to France, back to Saint-Tropez for the Sail GP. And I would probably say that was probably my highlight from a yacht racing fan. It's an awesome event. We were part of the Adrenaline Yachts group, so you kind of get right in close to the action, and yeah, amazing yacht racing and an amazing location to enjoy.
Perfect, sounds amazing. So look, the last year and a half, we've probably spoken with each other more than our spouses and our significant others. We've worked very, very closely, Luke and I, and of course with the owner, to make sure every little detail of this boat was taken into consideration. Talk about how, the decision and thought process of some of these features. Obviously we've got the layout is one, and the galley position. We did a few customisations as well, which was important to the owner.
Yeah, no, it's firstly the spec options from Lagoon are vast. To get through those takes a while. Once you know exactly what you want, still a lot of choices to make, but we were very lucky. Firstly, myself and my partner have worked with the owner for the last 2.5 years before this project, so on their previous boat we knew exactly what we were after, which obviously helps. And then also knowing you for a while has also helped. We know how we work together and know how we could look at making those decisions in consultation and advising the owner which way to go. And then again, the customisations through Lagoon and through Yacht Solutions to get the boat really what we wanted was a process, as it always is, but being able to do that many customisations with what's a production brand is awesome. You largely know what you get, it's just little tweaks, but from most other production brands, they just say no. So for Lagoon to have that offering in with these premium products is really good. And from our first 6 weeks, there's really nothing much we want to change. The systems are all great, and just a few little tweaks we'll make with some storage and little things that you just learn from using the boat. There's always a level that you can go to beforehand, but you have to use the boat to find out those last little things. And little things want to move a few shelves up or down, or add a drawer here or there, but really I think we got it pretty right. So. Yeah,
definitely. There was many emails, many late conversations and phone calls with the factory, and Luke and I talking.
I hate to know the tally of emails or hours on the phone, it'd be up there. But all paid off.
Yeah, but I think it was a very smooth process. As you mentioned, we've known each other for quite a few years. You have known the owner for quite a few years as well. So from my perspective, and I know from the factory's perspective, it was a really smooth and I'm not going to say an easy process, because nothing's easy. It's a process, but I think for them, I know their feedback it's been the best project they've worked on so far, and I'm really grateful that we worked with yourself and a knowledgeable owner like Paul to come up with this amazing boat.
Yeah, and it's definitely a relationship, and everyone involved is really important. Everyone from obviously we know each other very well, but even from Lagoon, obviously we're dealing with a language barrier. The English is fantastic, but trying to get the exact understanding of what we were after. Matthew and his team running the 77 line do a fantastic job. And all the customisations, working through everything, working through the little challenges that come up along the way, but super helpful, and always answer your phone call and everything. They've been absolutely great leading up to and since our launch. The support's been fantastic. Yeah,
it truly has. So there was a couple of prerequisites with this boat, or obviously options that had to be selected, and some features that had to be on board. Point out a few of those key features.
So there was a few. Well, from the owner's previous boat, we knew some things that we really wanted and they really liked. There was a must. The first big one for the master cabin. They love having big windows, especially in their cabin, which I understand completely. It's lovely being in a nice cabin, but you want to see what's around you. And I think a lot of boats have great views from the saloon, but you go to the mast and there's small windows. So wanting big windows, and what Lagoon offer in the 77 is the balcony. It's a pretty big window.
It's a massive window.
Doesn't get much bigger, and that really was a big thing for them. And since we've had the boat, we use it. Every time the weather's suitable, it's open, and it's just a great feature, and they love it. Other big one, which we had on our previous boat, was we had on Flybridge a TV and a spa. So Lagoon obviously offered the spa, which we're really happy with. They've done a great job integrating that. It's awesome, from empty to full in 40 degrees in 40 minutes.
That quick?
It's that quick.
Wow.
When you have the water tanks filled up and everything ready to do it, it's that quick, which is fantastic. From a skipper's point of view, that's fantastic. You just can't. Often spas are a pain because it takes hours to fill and heat and stuff. So the way they've set it up to be able to do that is awesome. Means you use it a lot more. And part of that experience is a TV. So we have a pop-up TV to watch sport and stuff, which obviously now, being rugby union fans, has been great for the last few weeks as the start of the World Cup. So that was really a must do for us, which was really good. And our third one, which was a customisation through Yacht Solutions, and was running a diesel tender and having the ability to refuel off the main boat, so a diesel bunkering station, which just makes life very easy for us from running the tender, and also very safe from not carrying jerry cans and not carrying petrol. So an expensive thing to do on a boat like this, but it's definitely worthwhile, and with our itinerary, it's definitely a massive step forward in the smooth running of a boat like this.
Definitely. We spoke about it before, the amount of communication we've had, actually yourself and me, being the owner's representative and following this project from start to finish. Tell us about your time you've spent dealing with TMG and how all that went.
It was really good. I mean, the whole team, again, the biggest part of the relationship has been you and me together, but the whole team from Sue in the office helped out with all of the registration, which is obviously a very difficult time, a lot of moving parts in a very short time frame, but the help getting through that phase was great. Best thing about the TMG group is they're all just people. There's no egos, there's no that's not my job. Everyone we dealt with was there to help us in this journey and keep things moving and make decisions, and it's the way it should be. It's just as easy as it can possibly be. There's always a lot of decisions to be made, a lot of expensive decisions to be made, but everyone understanding that they are big decisions. You know, this for the owner is a boat for the next 4 years. We want to make sure we do get it really right, but there's a lot of cost involved, so making sure we're making the right choices and within the budget, getting the best value for money out of our project is really important. So TMG's allowed that to happen.
Yeah, no, look, it was a really fun project to be a part of. Obviously, this is our flagship model, so it's a nice feather in the cap for myself as well as the company. So we're really glad that we got to work with someone like yourself and make this process as smooth as it can be. So any tips or advice you can give the next owner or someone that's coming into a project like this to make it run as smooth as possible?
Biggest thing I think with all of these kind of projects is just planning. Knowing what you want from the start is obviously very tricky. As you go through the boat buying journey, you'd obviously usually learn a lot, so things change, but making decisions as early as you can and planning and knowing exactly what you want is really important. And as you get closer to the launch, the planning of getting crew involved. We're chatting to some owners of a boat the other day and just saying they're thinking they get their crew a month before. It's really too late. You really need to get, especially the senior crew, involved, I would say 6 months beforehand, so all those small decisions can be made in advance, prepared. The logistics of launching a boat like this can't be underestimated. There's so many little things, moving parts, from cutlery and crockery to all your safety gear, and it's really important to get it right for the boat and where it all goes, and that planning takes months. Rushing it, A, is stressful, and B, it makes that first 6 months a lot more difficult and not quite as enjoyable. So although it's a big cost in having crew beforehand, the earlier you get them involved, then the smoother the first 6 months will go and the more enjoyable it will be.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Well, Luke, look, I appreciate your time to sit down and talk to us today.
Absolute pleasure.
It's a terrible place to be here in the south of France on this beautiful Lagoon 77 having this conversation, but from the start to the finish, and I'm glad that we're finally here and you guys are out exploring and having fun with this boat, and I really look forward to following your journey all the way back to Australia. Obviously we're communicating a lot on night passages when he's up there on watch, and it's daytime in Australia, and it's quite a pleasure to hear quite the surprising performance numbers we are getting out of this boat sailing. Obviously we're not in a performance boat by any means, but we are definitely getting substantial numbers on a boat and comfortable cruising speeds in relation to the wind too, which is great to hear.
Yeah, no, I've been pleasantly surprised with how the boat has sailed. It's a cruising boat, it's not a racing boat by any stretch. And it's not doing racing speeds, but it's doing comfortable passage making speeds. You know, in 15 knots of breeze, you're really comfortably cruising at 8.5, 9 knots under sail, and that's for passage making. That's awesome, and it's just comfortable at sea so far. As with all catamarans, they don't like going into the wind, but our passages are largely downwind and trade wind sailing, and it loves that. It's been fantastic so far, so it's been awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right, Luke, thank you very much.
Pleasure, thank you.
Enjoy your the rest of your show, what's left of it, and the next remainder of the season.
Yeah, we'll see you somewhere else in the world.
Perfect, look forward to it.
All good.
If you've enjoyed this interview and our videos, please like and subscribe. We love making content, and we wish to see you on the next video.